So now that we have our purpose in place, let's look at how we can get started. Of course, as soon as I made the decision to do this, I was I didn't know how to remove the lawn. I looked into a designer. I looked for a sustainable designer, and they told me that they didn't work with anyone under $20,000 with a $20,000 budget. It's like, oh, I guess I'm gonna have to do this on my own. But I didn't really know how to do it. I knew principles of sustainability, but again, I had never been the one in charge of implementing them within a larger project that then I would have to carry through. So I didn't have the confidence really to do this. And I didn't know where I would get the plants. Some of these plants I had never heard of them. A lot of them I had never heard of these plants before. I didn't know where I could find them. And if I did find them, I didn't know how to install them. I mean, I'd done planting, but I felt like I was totally over my head. So that's why I made this presentation, because I have a feeling that I'm not alone in that. And ultimately, when you break it down into steps like anything, it's possible. So this presentation will be giving a super broad overview of the steps to sustainable yard transformation. What we'll look at today is first some resources for funding your project. Then we'll look at how to remove your lawn. Then we'll look at how to design your new yard, how to install your design, and ultimately how to maintain it. So let's start with funding your project on a budget with no debt. I do believe that sustainability is something that ought to be accessible to everyone, and that it's not something that we should have to go into debt into. And I am very happy to say that I am living proof that you don't need to. And thank goodness there are programs such as the one offered by the Solano County Water Agency, and I know many other counties offer something similar. In Solano County, it's called the Water Efficient Landscape Rebate Program. What this program does is support you if you want to make this transformation financially by giving you a rebate after you have made the transformation. So I'm just going to go through really quickly what's required and how that program works here in Solano County. Any private resident or C2 customer in Solano County is eligible with a minimum of 300 square feet of lawn. You are not eligible if it's new construction. This is not about breaking ground. You have to have already had an established lawn that you're transforming into a sustainable landscape. It doesn't work to do it retroactively. This means that if you've already begun your project, even if you're halfway through, you're not done yet, but you've already begun, you wouldn't be eligible. They want to see your lawn at the very beginning. This program requires you to go from the very start of the project to the very end. If you're a renter who wants to make this transformation, amazing, but you do need to get written permission from the homeowner, of course. And it's important to know that these rebates are awarded on a first come, first served basis, meaning that you're not guaranteed that you will get it, but it's likely that you will. What the rebate offers is $1.50 per square foot of landscape converted, with a maximum of $1,500 for single family residences and a maximum of $7,500 for public property. And we'll be looking at the $1,500 range there in this presentation. The way that it works is that you apply through the Water Efficient Landscape Program using this website here that you see noted, and they come out and they see your lawn and they do some calculations, they measure how big it is, and once you become accepted in the program, then you do the program, and after you're done, then they give you a rebate when it's complete. So in order to get that rebate, this is what you are required to do. First of all, it must be completed within 4 months, with the exception that if you need an extension, they're very happy to grant it. They gave me an extension. If you follow some of the recommendations that I'm going to share today, you will likely need an extension, and they're very happy to grant that as long as you let them know in advance. You'll need to fill out a W-9 IRS form, and then what you plant must be drought-tolerant, non-invasive edibles and/or native plants. The planting areas must have at least 3 inches of mulch or permeable organic material, no concrete or other impermeable material. Weed mat must be biodegradable, and you must have 50% vegetation coverage. This is to say that they're expecting that you actually put in some kind of garden, whether that's drought resistant, native, or edible. It needs to be from a lawn to an actual landscape. If you use irrigation, it must be low drip, micro spray, bubbler, or hand watered. Overhead watering is not allowed, and it must be in good working order, meaning no big leaks. When you're done meeting all of these requirements, you contact the Solano County Water Agency to do an assessment, and they come out and they check out what you did and they tell you, great job, this is beautiful. You sign a paper and they send you a check. So ultimately, you do need to be able to provide the resources to do the transformation, but then you will be rebated those resources. So I knew that, and I wanted to make sure that I stayed within the budget that I knew they were going to send to me ultimately. So I have a 1,300 square foot lawn, and I limited myself to a $2,000 budget. And I spent about $1,000 ultimately on native plants, 3 fruit trees, and planting mix, about $700 for rock, about $500 for containers for garden beds and bulk soil, and about $200 for 2 seasons of veggie starts and soil amendment. So that just gives you kind of an idea. Of course, this isn't a promise, but it's an estimate of what could be possible for you as well.